Every technology we create extends some human faculty, some essential human capability. These are the words of Marshall McLuhan, who is a Canadian philosopher who brought to the world media theory, I believe. He brilliantly observed that the tools that we build are simply extensions of ourselves. So, for example, clothing extends our skin. Our electric circuits, for example, extends our nervous systems. And each new extension fundamentally transforms how we perceive and interact with the world around us. It's beautiful, it's powerful. If I were to be so bold, I will take this a step further, because today we're in the middle of another powerful extension. And this time, it is of our cognitive capabilities. We now have AI agents. These are intelligent systems that reason through complex workflows dynamically. They adapt. They autonomously execute sometimes multiple step processes, or even talk to other agents, talk to your CRM and all of that stuff. Hello friends, I'm Noble Ackerson, and today let's explore Agentic Automation in my usual practical and grounded way. And in my previous videos or talks or workshops that I've given, I've hinted about how self-driving cars, as an analogy, are forms of agents, or robots are forms of agents. So even though we keep hearing about agents and agentic workflows, all of a sudden, agents are not entirely new. Let's take a brief walkthrough of history, a look at the evolution of automation, where we've been, where we stand today, and maybe where we're going. So how did we get here? We began in the rigid era of rules, or explicit rules. You give it a computer a set of instructions and out comes the thing, versus giving it data and having it figure out what to do. And early automation was by nature rigid, right? Again, very conditional. Think about how the Jacquard loom automated textile weaving with punch cards. And I'm not punch card years old, but I do remember using macros with Visual Basic within Office 97, Microsoft Office 97. Macros even predated that with software like SmartKey to automate repetitive tasks. And believe it or not, even industrial robots with hand-coded instructions, teleoperated in some case, are ancestors of agents. These agents are powerful, but brittle, and unable to adapt to changes on the fly without a lot of human intervention. Okay, so today agents have become smarter thanks to generative AI and large language models. Now agents understand the representation of meaning thanks to AI. They can do more, yes, than generating text, right? So they can interpret goals, they can devise strategies, they can plan for you, and dynamically utilize multiple external tools or reach out to other agents. Mind-blowing. So this brings us to agentic automation, which I want to talk about, focus on today. So intelligent systems, again, that reason through sophisticated workflows in a sort of guardrailed enterprise context normally, and adapt to changing circumstances in real time. They perform intricate tasks autonomously or in close collaboration with you, with the human in the loop. Now, here's where things get a little interesting and honestly a little messy. We have two paths emerging. Agent-led, where there's automation, where machines just take over. MoveWorks, for example, is a company that is autonomously resolving 88% of IT tickets at Broadcom. That's 88%, not assistance, right? That's complete taking over and replacing the repetitive things where a human ideally is on the loop. Now, frankly, for those repetitive, have you tried turning it on and off type problems? Those need to go, right? Or logging or monitoring security and then sort of proactively finding fixes through sort of repetitive or compute intensive tasks. Good riddance to that. But then there's agent assisted automation. This is where I get excited, because you've got tools like Gemini's CLI that or Claude Code, they're making us more superhuman. They're augmenting our capabilities. So an example of that is Wayfair's developers, in a research report that they released, are setting up environments 55% faster, getting rid of all of the boilerplate stuff and automation that essentially is just doing that thinking for us, that grunt work, so that we can focus on the creative stuff or the logic, the business logic, to sort of serve a viable need for a business or a human need for what makes our for a desirable product, for example. And here's my honest take. Now, I've been coding long enough to remember when IntelliSense, autocomplete, felt revolutionary. Now we have agents that understand the context across the entire code base. If you've ever used SourceGraph or Cody, that's another example. So where are we going from here? It's not as clean as all the hype beast and the marketing slides may suggest. It's going to be a lot messier in the very beginning, in the short term. It's more experimental and way more interesting than any of us will expect. And honestly, I can't wait to see what we build next. And I want to end with another quote from Marshall when he said, "We shape our tools, and therein our tools shape us." Thank you for your time.